but you are my favorite. One of my favorites.
Yeah. You are also my favorite. Yeah.
Because you're special. You mean well. So, I wish I had good news. I wish I had good news all the time.
Well, you have good news.
Well, I'm still here.
You're still here. It's a good news.
No.
Right?
Sure.
Say. You're here. You're laughing.
What?
You're laughing. You're laughing. You're kidding. You're okay. You're talking. You're telling stories.
They would say in Yiddish, this is a toitze Angelechte.
Oh, that I didn't hear. What is it?
It's not always natural or real.
Okay.
I mean, you laugh and you smile because you didn't come here to hear my
what?
Bad.
Bad news. No, that's not the reason. You all your life, you always saw things optimistic in an optimistic way, right?
I did.
So it's not like just here. This is your nature.
Yeah, because when I talk to people about the Russians, about this and about that, I says people are good everywhere, some, and some are bad everywhere.
But you see in everyone, you see the good side.
Yeah, I try to.
This is very special.
Yeah, if I come in contact with the people and they treat me well, I said I don't know what you're talking about, because they were nice to me, But
because you were nice to them also.
But this is life.
What do you mean this is life?
That's the way it is. You try to make people feel good about you, and then you try to be nice to other people.
Did you ever meet anyone who wasn't nice to you or is in nature? Do you remember any, situation when you said to yourself, I don't like this man?
I don't think. What I know for sure, if I do that, then I am harming myself, not somebody else.
In what way?
If I am angry at somebody, and then I feel all the bad things that they did to me or to somebody else, because human nature is where you have people, some of them are treated better than others, and life is like that.
Yeah, but it's not like what you said, that there are good people, there are bad people. Sometimes you meet a good one, sometimes, you meet not so good one.
I don't know. I never met any not so good ones.
Really?
No.
Really?
Because when I came in touch with people in the store, they were buying from me. They were looking not to get cheated. They were looking for me to be honest.
Uh-huh.
And whatever they buy, that it's gonna be a good buy. When they're gonna be happy. You try to make people happy. See? So you do the best you can.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that it's quite unique that you don't remember any, situation, any incidents, something that made you feel uncomfortable or, dislike someone, saying to yourself, I don't like this man or woman.
The only answer I have for that is when I resent somebody and I feel unhappy, I'm harming myself rather than because whatever the person did, they did it.
So
and now it's for me to
decide whether
to ignore it or to change it, to find something good about the person. Because most people have something good in their lives.
And you think you find it. You always
I
find
find
something
it,
good
yeah.
in anyone.
Even the Germans came in.
Uh-huh.
They invaded Poland. And we had the gasoline station, we had the store
Hmm.
with the oil
I know.
capacities, and they would go to the store and they would say, how much is this oil? And I would tell them. And they said, in Germany it's less. I said, go to Germany and get it over there. I know,
With a smile.
with a smile.
With a smile.
I know, but they didn't come to harm you either. When they came,
For business, actually. To
yeah,
buy something
yeah, they
from
were
you.
trying to buy something reasonable or whatever, I don't know. There is something good in everybody, and nobody's perfect.
That's right. But sometimes there's something bad in somebody.
I know.
But you know that your uh, attitude towards people, it's very, very special.
Uh-huh.
Because now in these days there are many people give lessons to teach what you already know.
Uh-huh.
They exactly what you've said, that uh, it's your choice whether to be angry
Yeah.
or to say it's his problem, it's not mine.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if he hurting me,
Well,
okay,
right.
if he hurts me, so it's his problem.
That's the way
I'm not going to be angry about it.
That's the way I look at it,
Yeah.
because if I'm going to get angry, it's exactly what he wants me to be, unhappy. And if he wants me to be unhappy, I'm going to refuse to
Yeah.
to do it. But in general, I find people not bad, not always. And regardless what their background is, because you talk about Germans. I talked to the Germans when they invaded. They came, the gasoline was gone because the Polish people emptied the gas station. They
Okay.
left
Yeah.
to Hungary, on the way to Hungary.
And you still wasn't mad about it.
What?
You wasn't mad or angry about it that the Polish people just took your gasoline the minute you had to leave.
I could understand. They needed the gasoline. They had to take it.
And what about the people who
They tried
invaded
to
your
save their
house?
lives.
What about the people who invaded your house when I mean, you could have, come back to Rimanov. You
Yeah.
had an apartment, right? You lived,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Yeah.
But now, the Polish took over your houses and they didn't want to give it back. So you still
No, there
think,
was some bad news when we arrived in Poland. And then we were told, we came back from Russia, don't tell them you're Jewish, because there is bad news around in Poland
okay,
that the Jews are guilty of killing Jewish children
for
for
Passover,
Passover,
yeah.
and they are anti-Semitic.
Mhm.
So,
The Polish, the Polish,
the Polish,
the Polish. Okay.
Yeah. So if possible, try to avoid it. Don't speak Polish. I mean, don't speak Yiddish in front
You're
of them.
talking about when you came back
From Russia.
from Russia?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the time. That was Pesach.
Uh-huh.
And we were told that about maybe a dozen of Jewish survivors that survived the war
Hmm.
were killed by the Polish people.
Because of this belief.
What?
Because of this belief.
Yeah. Because the Jews are guilty of killing.
Young children to
Yeah.
use their blood.
Yeah.
In Passover.
It was, and that's why we made arrangements. We moved into the area where Poland got from from the Germans. That was the safest place to go. And some people even open up a business in that area.
In the Russian area.
No, in the German area. We left into the German-occupied Poland.
I know, and they told you to leave and to go to the Russian area, right? At the beginning of the war.
Oh no, they didn't tell us where to go.
Okay.
But we just.
I just hear a sound of water.
Okay.
I'll try to see if the maybe it's open. Okay.
What I am trying to say, hate is harming you more than somebody else. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So you can ignore it, or you can avoid it, or you can try the best you can to get by, you know. But life is not perfect. No matter where you go, you're going to find somebody. They don't like Jews, especially in Europe, you know.
Even today.
Even today.
Even today, of course. Of course.
Well, I went back
Yeah.
several times, and like I was friendly with the neighbors, and my daughter, the one that lives there,
Natalie.
she made friends with the neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
So when they left for here to go to Israel,
Who?
when I was leaving,
Okay.
they made me we went to a party with my daughter and the rest of the neighbors, and they wished me well, you know, and they were very
friendly.
They were friendly. See?
You lived in Natalie's house? You lived with Natalie?
No, but Natalie lived in the area. She's still living there. Yeah.
You had your own apartment in Kenosha?
We had a house we bought.
Okay.
And Natalie sold it after I left.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a new house.
And you lived there by yourself?
I was there with my father.
No, but now, before you came to Israel.
Yeah.
Before you came to Israel, like almost 1 year ago?
Uh-huh.
You lived in your own house?
No, I wasn't there. I don't recall.
Where did you live? You recall? Where did you live?
Maybe I left in the house if it was still there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the neighbors came to the party
To say goodbye.
And to say goodbye and to wish me well. And I don't know. The world is a big world. There is a lot of hate against Jewish people.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you said that you've never met it. I mean, you never experienced anti-Semitism.
I met it maybe or heard it, I could tell. But people came to my store to buy furniture, and they knew that I was Jewish.
And still they came.
And that's why they came.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How come?
Because from a Jewish merchant, you can get a better deal.
Really? Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what people think that the Jew.
Well, at
I
least
mean,
you can tell them that too, that we're going to treat you nicely. You know, you're going to get a good deal. See, in many ways, I would throw in a lamp or two lamps or
yeah,
something
you gave it to them.
to give him a little a present. So when they left the Jewish guys. It's not so bad. You know, it's okay.
But still, people divided. Maybe even today,
Yeah.
we have to divide. He's a Jew, and no, he's I don't know, he's a Muslim or some. I mean, people um, um,
Georgia.
nicknamed. I mean, they nicknamed. Oh,
Uh,
this is the Jew store.
uh-huh.
They talk like this. I mean,
But
this
I
is the
was,
Jew store. We have to go there. Or this is the Muslim. No, we don't go. Like this, people talk like this.
well, if they did, you go to the Jewish store, you're gonna get a better deal, maybe. But not
the Jew were trusted.
the Jew
Or
attracted
trusted.
people to come and to be a little lenient, and on the merchandise. Nothing was 100%. You could negotiate, different deals.
Mhm.
But we did a lot of business. We took care of a lot of customers, and 99% were happy. And that was written up in the newspaper a lot, and everything that I did. And there was an office of the Palestinians in town, and they would give speeches about to have a state here, not Israel, but Palestine. And they were critical of Palestine. I mean, so I answered just about every speech that they gave. I answered, what I
In the
thought
newspaper.
in the newspaper, and they took it, because the president of the Kenosha News
Was Jew.
was
Jewish.
Jewish. And he liked to talk to me about his history, about his family. He was a very educated Jewish person, Even when he was feeling not so good, and I was volunteering at the hospital, and he used to come to see the doctors. And he said at the end, he says, I don't think I'll be back Monday. I think I'm gonna die.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. But he was very intelligent, and I told him about my nephew. His name was Tzvika. So I told him what Tzvi means, Tzvi. And he says, that's my Jewish name. you know. So.
When did he die?
Well, he died.
Recently or?
Well, before we left, they made him a big funeral at the college in Kenosha.
Mm-hmm.
They had the whole the
Jewish community.
Yeah, not just Jewish. A lot of non-Jewish people came. Yeah, he was well accepted and known and respected. But he was the president of the Kenosha News. Yeah.
He owned it. He owned the
He
newspaper.
owned it. Not just that. He owned several other news companies, and he got respect for what he did. He knew how to respect others, to be good person to everybody.
well, he tried, as I gathered, he tried to see, to let people see both sides,
Uh-huh.
Palestinians and
Yeah.
Jewish, right?
Right.
Because he gave also the Palestinians a stage to, to speak
Uh-huh.
their opinions
Right.
on the newspaper.
Well, nobody stopped them from it.
No, but he could have decided it's my paper. I'm not allowing these Muslims to, I don't want any article from the Muslims. I mean,
Uh-huh.
but I saw the paper, and I saw that there was an article of interviewing, I don't know, a Muslim woman, and then it was your interview.
Yeah.
So he tried maybe to, to make an
Equal.
quite, yes.
You try to appease people and not to condemn them, but to
Yeah.
find
To show
ways.
both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To find ways.
Not to be one-sided. I mean.
Right. Sure, I don't blame him for wanting a state, but Israel is there to stay, and Israel is going to be there. You know. Yeah.
Did you have any relations with Muslim people?
With who?
Muslim people in Kenosha. Did you have any relations with Muslims?
Yeah, because I had every nationality in my store. Because a lot of them didn't speak English,
Hmm.
and if they spoke a foreign language, and I spoke Russian, and I spoke Polish, and I spoke different languages. So they like to communicate. And sometimes they even said that we're going to go to the bank to get a loan to buy a house. We need $10,000. You want to give me $10,000 and get interest? And some of them I did give them the $10,000 and made a loan. But they were Czech. They were from different places, different nationalities.
Really?
Yeah. But I found people in general are not always bad, you know. The same here. I meet people, not every Jewish person is perfect.
Right. Of course.
Mhm.
Not every Jewish, not every Christian or Muslims or whatever.
Every person
Every person is
different.
Is different.
You can't be friends with everybody, but you do the best you can.
How did you? How do you pick your friends? How did you
How-
pick your friends? Yeah. Who was your friend? I mean.
I can tell
Okay.
the behavior, how they treat me and how they talk, and yeah, I can tell if I think he's okay to keep in touch. But I dealt with a lot of people, and a lot of, like the Kenosha News was a big outfit where, I could go in and have a meeting with the head of the Kenosha News and write answers to about different problems about Israel and other things.
Do you remember any argument or discussion that you did with, people who had different opinions than yours?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember any?
No, I just they didn't always know what they were talking about. They were not convincing. It's what you think is not the case, and I would try to correct them.
Do you remember any?
I don't know, not
Not
necessarily.
now. Hmm.
There was no conflict about it. I would just say what I think, that Israel is there to stay and to let people live, and try to tell them that the world is not perfect. You can find something wrong with Israel or with other countries, you know. But Poland was not a bad place to be raised as Jews.
Before the war.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Jews were treated the same
As Polish.
as Polish. And they had the same rights, you know. Like we were given 2 gasoline stations, the permit to own it and to sell the gasoline. And we were Jewish, but the company was English.
Yeah.
The company that occupied the refineries close near Romanov, there were refineries where there was oil, and some of the outside companies owned some of the oil companies, but we got along with everybody, and because that's the way to do it. Because we were taught, not just taught, but we can understand. Like the people that own the gasoline stations, the Jewish people.
Yeah.
They say if you sell 5 liter or 10 liter, you say thank you at the end. you know, you know, they teach you, they tell you to be polite, you know, to everybody. You know.
So you say that you raised. I'm trying to, to connect what you've said to your parents. So you said that you were raised very, with values of being nice to people, or what your parents' contribution, you think, to your way of life, way of thinking?
Well,
what can you say about it?
They felt I'm doing the right thing, to be nice to people and to your business.
They encourage you?
The what?
Encourage you? They encourage you.
Encourage me, yeah. So that there was no animosity in my house against anybody. Our neighbors came on Saturday morning to make fire in the kitchen because we couldn't light the fire. And they were not. They did it because they knew that it's against our law to do it, and they did it. You know, and there were a lot of other things. You try to convince them you do it for the good of everybody. You know, yeah. You're not hateful against anybody.
In Rimanov, there were Jewish people and Christian, and were there other religions in Rimanov at that time?
No, we had 4 synagogues.
Okay.
Jewish. Yeah.
What about Muslims? There were Muslims in
No.
there?
No.
No.
But they had a church which was Catholic. And we tried to avoid going close to the church. We just walk by.
Why? Why did you?
I don't know.
Try to avoid.
We knew the church was not. It was better to avoid it, you know.
Because of what?
we didn't try to make friends there, but we did have 90% of our customers were Jewish, because a Jew can always get wholesale. Jewish people can make connections.
Between themselves, you mean?
Well, with the merchants in the merchandise mart or the furniture mart, they know somebody that they can get direct, connection. No, all I know, Jews are not perfect, Goyim are not perfect.
Not then and not today. And maybe not in the future also.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's reality, see. But in Russia, the Russians knew we were sent there because we were Polish Jews. It was a big deal arriving to the camps in Russia.
What do you mean it was a big deal? In what way?
Well, it was. It's not a nice place. It's not Miami Beach. See? It's a prison camp,
Of course.
But in the prisons too, if you talk to the bosses, and if they try to be independent, they tell you our job is to treat everybody equal. Our job is to treat everybody humane. Yeah.
That's what you remember?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to ask you maybe a strange question. If I would have talked to somebody else from, another Jew that came from Rimanov and went, all this way that you did, and I asked him about, what I asked you about, what do you remember about the
treatment?
How did they treat you in the camps? You think what they would have told me?
Yeah.
What do you think they would have told me?
Some would be critical. Yeah, sure. It's understandable. It was not Miami Beach, but I knew why we came there. They tried to keep us isolated from the people. But I told you I made friends the first day. I made friends with a woman and a husband that gave me some lemon, the chicken soup. And they stayed friends as long as we were in Siberia. Yeah.
You stayed friends from the beginning?
Well, I tried to help her do a little job outside the house, You have to make an effort to befriend others, and a lot of them will return it to you. Yeah. Yeah. Dieser Welt.
With a kleine Welt.
Kleine Welt.
Do you remember any situation when you needed help from somebody, a Jew, and you asked him for help, and he helped you or did not help you or refused? Do you remember any incidents of, not really nice one?
No, the only people I would ask something that I would know ahead of time that it's okay, that they will return a positive answer. And if I had any doubt about it,
you wouldn't go.
I just left it.
You wouldn't ask them.
No. But the majority, I didn't need any favors. Money, we made a good living always. Yeah. whatever it was. You made like 3 cents a liter of gasoline, the commission.
Yeah.
But we did business with there was oil for the lighting the candles, and that was a big business for us. We used to bring in stop cars. You know what a stop car is?
Yes. You
Yeah.
told me.
You unload it into barrels, and you sell a barrel of kerosene,
Mm-hmm.
naft.
Neft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they call it. And you deal 90% with the suburbs, non-Jews. And we know one thing, as a businessman, you have to treat everybody nicely if you want to get any business from them, you know. And it's just basically good to be nice to people and to avoid criticism. Because if you're going to find something wrong with somebody, you're not going to win.
You know, I'm thinking that I'm sure that you had some, incidents in your life,
Yeah.
in the camps maybe, or on your way back from the camp, or in Kenosha, anywhere. I suppose, I believe that you had some incidents, some bad or not pleasant, let's call it not pleasant incident, but in any way you refuse to remember it. I mean,
I tried not to.
in any way I ask you about it, you always have the same answer. You have to treat people, nicely. You have to smile.
Right.
You have to.
Because hate is not good, not for the people that you're hating, but for you that you're trying to hate somebody else.
I wish that many people would think about it, like you.
It's not good to hate
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah. But there is a lot of hatred in the world.
I know, but that's why you can't solve it, because you can't correct it.
For control, what people
control and say, look, you better be nice and get along. That's what you have to do. If it's Siberia or Kazakhstan
or Kenosha or Austria.
Yeah. But the people with different views, and they would have we have religion classes in school. I was the first one to start to go to elementary school in Kenosha.
In Romanov.
In Romanov, yeah. And we had a religious woman that taught us Jewish religion, and there was a priest.
She was Jewish.
She was Jewish.
Yeah.
And the Christians had a priest teaching.
But you were divided?
Yeah.
I mean, the Christian went with the priest, and the Jewish went with the.
Yeah, a different time for either one.
Mm-hmm.
So when we finished school, my religious teacher happened to be Jewish, the Jewish one.
Yeah.
And she said, I got a job for you. My husband is in partnership with the mayor of the town, and they have a lumber yard. And I want you to work in the lumber yard.
Why do you think she approached you? Why did she approach you?
Well,
and not another, student? Why you?
Evidently, I had a good connections, conversations or whatever. because she told me to keep an eye that he may be selling it and not registered.
Who did? The worker?
No.
The,
The partner.
the partner.
The
Okay.
partner was not Jewish, and she wanted me to keep an eye on the sales going through.
So she trusted you because you were Jewish and not the partner because he wasn't Jewish or because
Well,
you know,
there was a way
another
of
reason.
making a little extra money on the side.
Yeah.
You know, you can make a deal, and pocket the money. There's all kinds of things that can happen.
And you got paid for it?
What?
She paid you for it?
I got paid for the job.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the husband was teaching me bookkeeping.
Mhm.
Yeah. So later on, I had a good experience functioning in among people because I could know the bookkeeping, adding and subtracting, and it helped learning. Yeah.
It also helped you afterwards. I mean,
Yeah.
during the war,
Right.
and afterwards, maybe when you had a business.
Right.
Uh-huh. So people probably, you know,
Well, you see, like my daughter is living in Poland now,
in Kenosha,
Natalie.
Natalie in Kenosha.
Right. Yeah. And Marsha was also active
Where?
when she was there.
In what way she was active? In what?
If she was in the business helping, she would treat people,
Oh yeah.
yeah, properly. And even today, when I talk to Marsha and Natalie, they know they got to treat people equally. Not presume that this one is not Jewish or that one is not. All I know, the world is not perfect. There are good people, people that like Jewish people,
And people who don't.
a lot of them.
A lot of it don't.
Yeah.
Most of it.
And they're given reasons. I had this one young man, Italian. He needed a repair job on something he bought, and I took care of it. But I had to pay $10 or something. When he came back, I told him, it's $10 you got to pay. And he said, "No wonder you Jews killed Jesus."
Really? For $10.
I know a dollar is the same. It's the idea they learned in the churches that the Jews
Kill Jesus.
killed Jesus, and it worked to create disliking about Jewish people. Yeah,
You can say hatred.
yeah,
Hating.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it happened.
Yeah.
But the church,
You know.
we were told not to go near. We never went inside the church.
When you were older, you also didn't go inside the church?
We never went.
Never?
No. Only if there was a funeral or a special occasion. But otherwise, we never went to church. Yeah. But we had 4 synagogues
Where?
in town, in Poland, in Romanov.
In Rimanov?
Yeah.
Why so many?
One was where the head rabbinate lived. It was a big building.
Okay.
And he made weddings there for the Jewish people. And a lot of them, non-Jewish, wanted to have the wedding at the rabbinate. And then there was each, it was close to where you lived, or they agreed or disagreed with some of them.
You know why I'm asking you this? Because, in Israel also, there are in one not big area,
Yeah,
few synagogues. One for Yemenite
yeah.
people, one for Ashkenazi, and divided into.
No, we had it was Ashkenazi, but, but there was some were a little more religious than others. They were all religious, but some of them were more modern, uh,
Liberal.
liberal. Yeah,
There were people who didn't go at all to synagogue.
not that I know of, but we always made sure you had to have a minyan. You had to have a minyan. You got to have at least 10 men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was sitting next to the rabbi that taught me the Aleph base. He came to my house.
And he taught you?
What?
And he taught you?
Yeah. Yeah. And I said, now you can read. You can rock the cradle. Yeah. He came to the house. The chickens were running around.
Really?
And he was teaching me the Aleph base. See?
Only you?
What?
Only you? I mean, you didn't teach anyone else?
No, that was private in my house, myself.
For free?
Well, we
Or-
always gave him
Gave
donations, but it wasn't.
But it was his initiation, or you asked him to, or your parents asked him
My
to do it?
father asked them to.
Yeah.
They offered to come, and I always sat next to the rabbi in the shul. In the beginning, to show me what we're doing now. But then they told me to get up and do the service myself, and I learned how to do the service. So I got a job.
You got paid for it?
No,
Or it was like volunteering?
volunteering.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's nice.
But one was, see, my mother died in Poland.
Yeah.
Right after the war.
Yeah.
And we made sure we joined the religious organization.
Which means?
Because you can have services morning and evening
Okay.
to say Kaddish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they were liberal. It was a liberal Zionist organization. They call it Mizrahi. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, I know.
You know Mizrahi.
We talked about it,
Yeah.
yes.
It was more modern. See? And I learned to conduct the services there. Yeah.
אבל אני עוד מעט נפגש. טוב. ביי, ניפגש בשני, ביי.
See, they are busy building
The house.
the
Yeah.
house. Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Uh-huh.
I told her, you must be there every day to
Well,
watch for the workers. You
they
have
keep
to.
in touch.
Yeah,
They-
always. Yeah. They have to supervise. They have to be there.
That's where their son lives on the Moshav.
Tzvika?
Trika.
He lives in Sateria, in the Moshav. He lived there?
Well, it's separate from the Moshav.
Mm.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He married,
A girl from the Moshav?
no, well, actually he married a Russian Jewish girl.
Mm-hmm.
She's very educated, and she is in the army.
Mm.
And
She is?
what?
She was or she is?
She is.
She is?
Yeah.
Oh,
Still is
okay.
in the army. Yeah. But the parents are not ultra Orthodox Jews.
Yeah.
You know.
Most of them not.
No.
Yeah, I know.
But they
Okay.
they come, the parents.
The parents live here in Israel?
Yeah, they live here.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice.
They live not far from
From the Moshav?
It's not a Moshav. Where she is, it's a separate house with a big lot,
Mm.
and that's why they're redoing it, to make it more,
Yeah,
modernize it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
But what I found in Israel, many Jews are not very as religious.
Yeah, yeah. But I think they are more traditional than religious.
Yeah, yeah.
Like me, I'm not religious.
I know,
But we keep tradition. We keep
but that's
tradition.
what we did even in Poland. We light the candles. It's tradition.
My mother did also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you observe the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And we walked to shul. We didn't ride a bike to shul or drive a car.
Yeah.
Yeah. We tried.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Once we got a visitor from 15 kilometers away, where the company that we were dealing with for the gasoline for the station, and the head of it stopped and he asked my father to get in the car to go to the village. They wanted to talk something about, because the people in the village, they were bringing in the gasoline and the kerosene. And my father looked at him and he said, "It's Saturday morning."
I'm not going into the car. Wait. אני מדברת לך עוד מעט. Bye.
And to say to the head of the office, I can't go in the car.
In the car.
But he says, "You go in the car and I'm going to walk." It was only about 2 or 3 kilometers. It wasn't too far.
Yeah.
And he says, "If you're going to walk,
I'm going to walk with you." Okay, that's nice. So, I'm going to be here on Monday. Now I'm going with my daughter. I'm going to Be'er Sheva. You know Be'er Sheva?
Sure.
It's in the south.
I know just about a lot of Israel."
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Because even before I used to come, we used to go to different places.
Yeah.
I used to take several trips.
Really? To Israel? Yeah.
With religious organizations.
Oh, which one?
I don't recall the names, but they were well organized. We would go
all over.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So I'm going now with my daughter to Be'er Sheva. It's like 1 hour drive. Not so far. Okay.
Okay, bye.
So
bye.